And so how often do we see injustice happening in the here and now? Especially with all the insanity going on in the world, and we long and cry out for the judgment of God, as we're witnessing evil and injustice increasing rapidly in the world with attacks on free speech, attacks on the family, attacks on gender, attacks on medical freedom, and attacks on children from the child grooming, child sniffing perverts in our government-run schools, in our media, and in our government. I mean, just look at, I can't get away from mentioning this, it just happened, but just look at Joe Biden's Trans Day of Visibility, that he just declared, right? How blasphemous. I mean, people, I felt like it was actual blasphemy. I wanted to tear my clothes and scream, it was so frustrating to see what he did with that. Instead of focusing on Easter and the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which happened to fall on Easter this year, on the March 31st, instead he decided to proclaim Transvisibility Day on Easter, on March 31st. And imagine if he had done that on Ramadan, what the fallout would have been. I mean, I dare all these trans activists and LGBT activists to start targeting Muslim holidays instead of Christian holidays. Let's see what happens to them. And, Biden tried to excuse it away, saying he first declared March 31st Transvisibility Day back in 2021, and that it just happened to fall on Easter this year. But I don't care. It's blasphemous. Either way, if I was president, I'm not going to celebrate anything but Easter on Easter. I'm not going to proclaim Transvisibility Day. And he put a lot more effort into proclaiming this trans blasphemy instead of celebrating the birth, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. When it came to Easter, Biden put out a memo banning any religious symbols from the White House during the Easter celebration. Well, then what's the point? Easter is a religious holiday. Easter is a Christian holiday, the way we celebrate it. I don't care if the name Easter had roots in paganism and all this stuff. We celebrate it today as the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ around, Black Friday and the Passover. And so, when it comes to Easter, he blocks it all, he bans it all. It has to be just stripped away of all meaning and generic. He didn't say he is risen or mention Jesus Christ in any way, but instead stripped the holy day of anything alluding to the Lord, and then went and proclaimed it Transvisibility Day. And so the LGBT cult and the trans cult, which is exactly what they are, it's become a religion, can celebrate, freely a day of abomination, but we have to strip Easter of all meaning and significance and insult half of this country and half of the world, really, who celebrate Easter and offend people who take Easter to be even something more holy than Christmas, in many ways. And so I actually think that this was God's way of getting back at Biden, and undermining his fraudulent presidency. Easter just happened to fall on March 31st in an election year. I don't think that was an accident. I think that was God setting a trap and a snare to destroy Biden and get more people to hate him and alienate more people from this fake president, so that hopefully we'll get a real president who knows how to speak, who knows how to talk, who knows how to string sentences together, that we can get a better president in 2024. And so Deuteronomy 22:5 is the only verse that's relevant for Transvisibility Day, which says, "The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God." Okay, so our society should not cater to a special class of mentally ill, often demon-possessed perverts. We shouldn't tolerate them going into women's bathrooms with our wives and with our daughters and playing in women's sports because they're too weak and incompetent as men. And we're just taking a little time today because we're in this short chapter, and let's just hit on some of these points. But anyone like the LGBT allies who support drag queens or the trans cult influencing children and going into our schools and libraries are nothing but child grooming pedophiles. Okay, Romans 1:32 says this about LGBTQ allies. That's the A in the LGBTQIA+, the allies, the supporters. It says in Romans 1:32, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. It's actually a death penalty offense in the Bible. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Okay, and that's according to the New Testament. Okay, this is Paul the Apostle. I'm not quoting the Old. Why are you in the Old Testament? No, I'm in the New Testament talking about this, and the Bible is very serious about this. It's very clear about God's position.